this evening. Can I also thank all the other candidates for the very positive campaign that they've
we've
run,
now had more than
and
half the results
kindness
in tonight, 350 out of 650, as you can see at the bottom of your screen here. At the moment, because of the seats coming in, Labour is slightly ahead of the Conservatives. We think that will change. But look at that, 50 already for the SNP in Scotland. Only 2 seats they haven't won so far. 1 in Orkney for the Liberal Democrats and 1 for the Conservatives in Dumfriesshire. Let's go over to Ed Conway for more on the picture of the night. Ed.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Just have a look at this. These are the kind of battlegrounds between Labour and the Conservative Party. We're now starting to talk about that, aren't we? We've had a lot of SNP results there in the last few hours, but now it's this question mark over whether the Tories can get a majority. Now, first of all, let's deal with the question of Labour and the targets that they were aiming for. They simply haven't been getting all of them. These are the ones that they were going for. They were primarily Conservative to start off with in the last election. This is the amount of swing they needed to try to win them. So if they got it up to 1% swing from the Tories, they theoretically should have been winning these seats. Now, there are some aberrations. The old swingometer thing doesn't work as we expected it to, as it has in previous elections. I'll come to that in a second. But the point is, in a lot of these seats, the Conservatives, rather than actually losing ground to Labour, are increasing it. In Ipswich, Benedict Gummer has actually increased his majority against Labour, got a swing of just over 1.7%, and the same in many of these other seats. But there are aberrations. Ealing Central, Brent Central, West Wirral West, where we just saw Esther McVeigh. They have been losing some seats, and there is this chaos factor. But what about whether they're gaining them? Now, these are the seats that the Conservatives were aiming for, those target seats. They have got some of them. These, again, this is the swing they would need to win the seat. Up to 1%. They didn't get Hampstead and Kilburn. That was the narrowest of all in the UK, apart from, I think there's one in Northern Ireland for Manor, which is a little bit tighter. Southampton, Itchen, they did win. Telford, they did win. We're waiting to hear from Morley and outwards some rumblings there that Ed Balls, the Shadow Chancellor, could lose his seat. We're going to hear from them in the next few moments. And then over here, these have mainly been kept by Labour, but again, some aberrations. What's going on underneath the surface? I'll show you what's going on here. It's the change in the share of the vote. Look at this big increase from UKIP. UKIP is seeing a big increase in their share of the vote. The Lib Dems are seeing a big fall. And where are those votes from the Lib Dems going to? Well, they're not necessarily going where you'd expect them to. You're not seeing a kind of uniform swing across the country. And this UKIP vote is disrupting the rest of the country. UKIP have 1 seat. The problem is, for all those extra votes they're getting, they're not necessarily starting to win. Just have a look at this. This shows you the number of seats where UKIP came in 2nd place. So they've won 1 seat, but just look at the number of places they've come in 2nd place. They're winning a lot of votes against the major parties, which is causing that chaos factor. That means there isn't the universal swing you normally expect within these kind of elections. Now, our board is continuing to get populated. You can see London here. This shows you a representation of the UK. London here, a lot of red there, a lot of red in Wales. But we're still waiting for a lot of these kind of rural constituencies, which is where it's going to be decided whether the Conservatives can actually get that majority. But again, one of the stories of the night, and we'll continue to talk about this for some days, weeks, months afterwards. Look at the top of the map. Look at Scotland. That is a complete transformation, almost entirely yellow. A few constituencies, actually Dumfriesshire, the Conservatives, unexpectedly perhaps, managed to hang on to Dumfriesshire, and Edinburgh West, that Labour did manage to hold on to. But nonetheless, it's been one of those nights where unexpected things have happened, and really these gains and losses are going to continue to define the course of the evening. Adam, over to you.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Ed. Well, let's speak to our election analyst, Professor Michael Thrasher. Seems many hours ago now, because it was, Michael, the exit poll.